strange and charmed ones. Today I'm going to give you guys my best makeup tips for wearing with glasses. So as you guys can tell already, I do wear glasses. These are prescription. I do require them to see. And I thought it might be helpful if I gave you guys my tips on how to apply makeup if you are someone who wears glasses, because I'm sure there are many of you out there who are watching me who do wear glasses. So I thought this would be helpful if I gave you guys my top tips, what to do, what to focus on if you're someone who wears glasses. So if you are interested in that, stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing I need to do for this video is actually remove my glasses. So I'm going to take them off. And as you can see, I've actually done a majority of my makeup, but I've left the eye area open right now so that you guys can watch me apply my eye makeup. And so I can give you guys these kind of important tips that I think have been helpful for me and that I hope will be helpful for you if you're trying to create, a nice makeup look around your eyes, but you also wear glasses. Okay, so my first tip for people who wear glasses is to make sure that you have a strong brow. So I'm talking about your eyebrows. And as you guys can already tell, I don't have a problem with eyebrows. I really am not someone who needs to fill in my eyebrows. They're very thick and they're pretty well defined. Although I do go in from time to time and do a cleanup and kind of just clean up any areas like under my eyebrow that are getting a little bit wild and hairy and uncontrollable. And what I use to do that is I use one of these little I don't know what these are called, like a safety hair remover. You may have seen these before. I get them at Target, you can get them at Sally's, you can get them at a lot of different places, Walmart, all those places will sell something like this. And it's just a little razor blade that has like a protective edge on it so you can't actually cut yourself, that you just go in and kind of clean up your eyebrow underneath, okay? So these are really inexpensive. If you guys, tweeze, you may want to do this if you find tweezing to be a pain or a little bit too painful, because this really is very low pain. There's really no pain. Sometimes you can give yourself a little bit like a scratch, like a kind of scratch yourself a little bit with it, but for the most part, this is pretty painless. And I've never like cut myself or anything with it. And it always leaves me with pretty, clean eyebrows. So the next thing about your eyebrows that's really important is the shape. And I think people have probably seen this done before, but if you haven't, I'm going to go ahead and use this brush here to demonstrate how to make sure your eyebrows are properly balanced. So you take just a straight, stick or, a pen or, a makeup brush, okay? And you're going to line it up against your nose, okay? And bring it straight up. And this is the point where it ends. You see where the point where it ends is where your eyebrow should begin, okay? Then as you move along your eyebrow, you're going to actually bring the pen or the stick or whatnot, keeping it alongside your nose, bring it to the highest point of your eye, okay? And it will point to the area that should be a high point in your eye. As you can see, that's pointing to my brow area right here, right? Sorry, let me make sure I'm sticking to my nose here. So as I move along further, I bring this down and I line it up with the bottom of my eye, just the edge of my eye, and that is where your eyebrow should end. So that is a tip if you've ever been, curious or you're thinking that your eyebrows aren't properly portioned. Pull out a makeup brush, pull out a pen or something, go ahead and trace that line on your face and just see. And if you need to, just mark off with some makeup, and, then you can go in and, kind of trim and, make sure your eyebrows are actually properly portioned for your face. So I hope that tip is helpful for you guys. And obviously the last thing that you guys would want to do with your eyebrows, if they're not thick like mine are, you may want to go in and fill them in. Like I said, my first tip, I think almost the most important tip for people who wear eyeglasses, even if you're not wearing makeup, is to make sure that your brows do look strong and do look bold, because depending on the type of eyeglass you wear, your eyebrows may actually get drowned out, and it kind of gives you that look if you're wearing like a thicker rimmed glasses, that like maybe you don't have eyebrows. So you just want to make sure that your brows are defined, because your eyeglasses are gonna in some way try to work with your face shape, and it's going to define an overall look for your face. But you want to make sure that your natural eyebrow is there as well as a guide. Tip number 2 for people who wear glasses is to make sure that your under eye area is concealed and bright. Now, when you wear glasses, the glasses are going to cast a shadow down on your under eye. So it is kind of important to make sure you've got a little bit of concealer or brightener. I do already have my normal concealer on today, which is doing a pretty good job, but I just wanted to show you, you know, what you could do if maybe you really don't need concealer under your eyes. This is a really good option. I have this L'Oreal Magic Lumi Concealer Corrector Pen. You guys may already be familiar with that. It's just this little kind of like tube with like a little, I don't want to do it too much because I think I've already got some going on top, but it kind of like clicks at the bottom and product goes up. Okay, and it's got a little wand, and you just kind of go under your eye. I like to create like a little V shape, okay? So this is going to help conceal anything that is kind of dark and kind of create a brightening effect on my eye. And just to blend that in, I've just got my little faux beauty blender. This one is from Walgreens. I really like it. I forget the name. Is it like Studio 35 Beauty or something like that? I forget. And you say just push it in. I'm using my little pointed end, just pushing it in, and voila, I've got some extra coverage and brightness there. Anyway, back to this. I really like it. I think it's called Studio 38 or 35 or something like that Beauty. And I really like this one because it's really inexpensive. If you guys ever owned a real beauty blender, you know they're pretty pricey. And these things really should probably be tossed out like every month or every other month. I kind of go sometimes every 3 months because I just feel like I wait for them to get really dirty and then I toss them out. But, you know, these are sponges. You can clean them, but I just don't see the point in spending like 20 bucks on a beauty blender. I get these little guys for like $5, and I like this better than the normal beauty blender because it has a totally flat end. As you can see, it's got makeup on it where I applied my makeup against my face today. And then it's got the, you know, conical end that comes to a point that's great for doing under eye. And I love that it has the indent just around there, kind of like to help you like while you're holding it, no matter which direction, like you've got like a little area to hold it. So I like that. And you know, this is just, you know, optional. You can apply your under eye concealer any way you want. But I'm just showing you how I do it and what I like to use. And this is a pretty inexpensive little product. So if I can, I'm going to try to make sure I link some of these things down below in case you guys are curious. Okay. But there you go. As you can see, I've got my under eye concealed, pretty bright. I think we're looking good. Okay. Tip number 3 is to start with a fresh canvas on your eyelid. So as you can see, a lot of people naturally have a little bit of, you know, a discoloration, just like a different color going on in there from their eyelids to the rest of their eye. So I think that it is important to just go ahead and even that out with some sort of skin toned eyeshadow or shadow base or whatnot. And for this video, I'm actually just going to be using my NYX Love in Paris palette because it's a pretty inexpensive palette. I don't like to, you know, do things where I'm showing you guys really expensive products all the time because I know it's not in everyone's price range, but I know this is. So if you like this, you know, these are just like 10 bucks and you always get them on sale over at like Ulta or over at CVS. But I'm going to start off with this very light cream color down here that, you know, matches my skin pretty well. But the color that you'll use will be different depending on what your skin tone is. You know, you want to match your skin tone for this. You want your eyebrow to be, your eye area to be a blank canvas. That's the point. Okay, so once you've got step 3 done and your eyelid is a, you know, a blank neutral canvas for your face, step 4 is to define your crease. I think if you're someone who wears makeup and wears glasses, I think that it's kind of important. One of the more important tips I would say for applying your eye makeup is that you really want to create an illusion of depth. There is obviously depth in your eye naturally, but I find that when you wear your glasses, it kind of, you know, the lens kind of creates almost like a film that flattens out the look of your eye. So it's kind of like looking through a window. You know what I mean? Like that pane of glass is kind of flattening the outside world, so it's a little bit harder to see depth than it is if you were just standing outside. So in order to do that, I just kind of take, you know, just like a neutral tone that is just a little bit darker than my normal skin tone. And for that, I'm just going to use this like little, this one here, it's like a skin tone, like maybe like a beigey, sandy beige color. And like, again, it's all up to you. And if you're creating a specific eye look, you can take this principle of deepening your crease and just use whatever eye look you're creating. But this is just for like a neutral eye that, you know, is like an everyday sort of look, is how I'm kind of showing this to you guys, because this is like what I'm wearing today. So I'm actually using an e.l.f. contour brush for this. These are really inexpensive brushes. It just has like a sort of like cone shape, and it's like nice and small, so it will go into your crease pretty well. And I just do that windshield wiper motion. That's it, you guys. Windshield wiper in the eyes. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. If you guys know what movie that's from, bonus points if you put it down in the comments below. Okay, so you can see now I've gone in and I've deepened my crease. So now you can actually, when you look between my two eyes, which one looks deeper? I'm going to go with the one that has more color. Looks a little deeper. So let me go ahead and put it on the other eye as well. Now at this point in your makeup, you know, this isn't an additional step and I'm not going to do it right now, but you have, once you've darkened your crease, obviously you can go ahead and do whatever you want. You can add a different color to your actual eyelid. You can go and additionally highlight under your brow. I'm not going to do that because I find that I don't really need it once I've put my lighter color, but depending on the like your skin tone, if you're a little bit darker than me, you may want to go in and highlight. I just don't find that I need it because right now, as you can see, it's that base color that I used is creating a highlight. Okay, now we come to step number 5, which is to darken the lash line with some sort of liner or with a shadow if that's how you prefer to do your eyeliner. I'm actually just going to be using this Kohl Kajal from Physicians Formula. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. It might be called Nude Eyes. I know it came in like a 3-pack with a dark color and a really light color, and this was like the medium taupey color. So I'm using this one because I really don't feel like doing like a black line today. So I'm just gonna go in, and I like the Kohl Kajals because the shape of the edge, if you can see that, I'll put that up here. If you can see, the shape is like very conical. It makes it really easy to kind of apply a nice even line. Okay, and once your eyeliner is in place, my last step, number 6, is to open your eyes, make them pop open with mascara. So I'm going to be using this L'Oreal Voluminous Butterfly mascara in a waterproof formula. I'm not loving this, I'll be completely honest, you guys. It's not bad, it's just not the best. I definitely like my CoverGirl Clump Crusher better, but I'm using this one because I would like to use it up, because I recently bought it to try. It has this crazy brush at the end. You can see that, like, I don't know if you can tell, but one end actually like flicks up a little bit more. It's supposed to help you create like a butterfly effect so that the edges of your lashes kind of stick out more. But I don't know, it's only on one side. I think there's another one where like the whole actual mascara end or whatnot applicator is like that on the end, but that is not the one that I got to try. And I also just put a little bit on my bottom lashes. Okay, so now I've got my mascara on, my look is complete. But I wanted to address one other little thing eyelash-wise, in case you guys were curious. Now, one of my don'ts for people who are going to be wearing glasses with their makeup is don't use big sets of false lashes. I've tried it before. I tend to have problems with them because, you know, those long sets of lashes, those full sets of lashes tend to like hit up against my lenses of my glasses and it becomes uncomfortable. They're also pretty heavy, so I always feel the need, because I'm just not used to wearing them, I always feel the need to go touch my eye, which like is annoying because I'm wearing glasses. So if you are someone who doesn't think that their eyelashes, you know, are naturally thick enough and you do want to use some false lashes, I would suggest using accent lashes and just put them in on the ends. And I recently picked up this set of Ardell accent lashes, number 301 in black. You can see they're a little uneven because I've already used them. And I put them back into their container. But I'm just going to show you guys how I add these in. And these are really great because I've had no problems with these with my glasses, which is awesome. Okay, and these are the actual lashes. You see they're pretty little. They're like a half stack of lashes. I'm gonna need my handy dandy mirror here so I can put these in. Just attach them right at the ends and voila, they're in place. Or at least one is in place. Set number 2. Okay, so now that those are in, I'm just gonna give them a second to dry, and then I'm gonna put on some mascara, just another little coat of my mascara to blend in my eyelashes with the fake ones. Okay, so that is the finished makeup look. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my glasses. And there you go. And I think that you can definitely still see that the makeup is very vibrant, but even behind the glasses. And my eyes are really popping. And you can definitely see dimension in there. So yeah, I hope these tips were helpful for you guys and gave you guys some ideas for how you could be doing your makeup maybe like a little bit better, a little more strategically, so that your glasses look great with your makeup. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this type of video, this sort of one-off beauty video, please make sure to give me a like and let me know down in the comments as well. And give me some more ideas for things that you guys might like to see me talk about. Obviously, I wear glasses and I wear makeup, so this was a perfect fit. But if there's anything else that you guys think that I would be knowledgeable in, that you guys would like to see a video on, do not hesitate to leave it down in the comments below. I do read your comments, I do respond to them, and I do take your suggestions and I write them all down and take them to heart. So make sure you are letting me know what videos you guys want to see. If you're not already, make sure you are following me on all my social media feeds at MissTrenchcoat. I'm particularly big on Instagram. I'm always updating Instagram, and I'm also using Snapchat now. So if you guys would like to Snapchat with me, my username is also MissTrenchcoat. And of course, you can hit me up on Pinterest and on Twitter as well, MissTrenchcoat. And of course, you guys, don't forget to subscribe for more awesome videos by me. Until next time, bye-bye.